Hey there, everybody. Welcome into today's edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. I'm Sebastian Salazar. We got your questions straight off of Twitter, and we've got three guys here to answer them. Don Hutchison, Steve Nicol, Shaka Hislop. What a trio. What a moment. Great to have you with us. Don, first question for you on recent Everton form. Do you think they can beat a, not my words, shambolic Man United?
Everton's form has not been great. I mean, they've lost their last two, so they're not in exactly blistering form, but I think they'll take a little bit of confidence from the shambolic performance of Man United in Istanbul. They were horrendous and lost one of the worst goals I think I've ever seen at the very highest level. The good news, I think, for Everton, that James is going to be back, so full strength. I would fancy Everton at home.
Next question's for you too, Don. I don't know if people didn't want to ask Stevie or Shaka any questions, but I'll forward it to them. Stevie, as a former player, when you see a team on a bad run and you play them next, maybe following up on our last question, is there a feeling of overconfidence?
No, the first thing you say is, typical, we're going to lose. We're going to be the first team to get beat by this mob. That's generally your first impression. But then by the time you get to the game, obviously, you've sorted your tactics, you're all fired up for the game, and of course, if a team's on a bad run, you certainly rather play a team like that than a team that's absolutely flying. But no, initially, as soon as you finish the previous game, everybody just goes, oh no, I hope we're not a team that loses to this mob.
Stevie, I never would have pegged you as the pessimist on this panel. Shaka, what do you think? Do you see it the same way, or were you optimistic?
No, I'm the optimist as far as Stevie answers goes. Listen, I think you much prefer to play a team that's in the middle of a bad run than a team that's in the middle of a good run. If you see somebody lose and you think this is a good time to go there and you know, kind of keep the pressure on, you know, they're low in confidence, that's a million times better than playing somebody who's just won 4 in a row.
Don,
I think I said that, didn't I?
Yeah, you basically, you got around to it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You took the long and winding
You
road.
said you'd rather play a team. You'd rather play a team that's struggling than a team that's flying. That's what I said. You want to listen?
You had a weird way of saying it. No, you have a weird way of saying it.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Don, you ever seen a coach criticizing their players even when they just won the game, like Andrea Pirlo did, saying that his forward line was too egotistical? What did you make of it?
I've seen it before. I don't think it's anything new. I think coaches probably learn more when the team wins rather than they lose. So I think the top coaches tend to analyse the performance. Yes, the result's great, but I think that's a consequence of the performance. So I don't think anything that Pirlo done was brand new. I think coaches in our time have all done that as well. Probably not as harsh because they take the win, but still, if you've played poorly and won a game, managers are not going to be happy.
Stevie, you ever get on anybody publicly after a win?
No. Never get on anybody publicly, ever.
Well, even
You
if
don't do that.
rubbish.
If you've got something to say to one of your players, then you get them in the appropriate situation, face to face, and you tell them. You don't go putting all your dirty washing out in the media. No chance.
Stevie, last time you were on Extra Time, you said that Firmino should still be starting over Jota. Did Jota's performance against Atalanta change your mind? Something tells me no.
It's certainly closed the gap yet again. Listen, when Jota signed, there was no question he was coming here to be the backup, to give people a rest, all that kind of nonsense. But every time he steps on the field, he does something. He scores goals. He looks impressive, and every single time he does that, he's inching towards, in my opinion, particularly Firmino's job, because he's not scoring goals. So I don't expect him to start at the weekend, not as centre forward anyway. I expect Liverpool's famous front three to start, but it's getting very, very close between Firmino and Jota, no question.
Yeah, it sounds like you got Firmino kind of here, Jota kind of here, and where in that would you put Raúl Jiménez in that? Where would you?
What? What's he got to do with it?
Jiménez over Firmino.
What's wrong with him? What's
Come
got to do
on. Man.
think that's gone over his head.
Talking about.
We've missed him. We've missed him. That was a couple extra times ago.
What's a daft question that is?
Sorry, I didn't hear you tailed off there, Steve. Stevie, as a former defender, do you think the main reason Chelsea's defense has been so much better is because they feel they have a competent goalie behind them? Let me read you some stats here, because that's what our producer wants us to do. Chelsea's last match before Mendy got there, the 3-3 against West Brom. That 8 games since Mendy started 6 clean sheets. The one game in there that he didn't start was a 3-3 against Southampton. Kepa, your starting goalie. How big of a difference has it made, Stevie?
Huge, absolutely huge. It's not the only. It's not the only thing that's made a difference, but it's certainly way up as the most important one. And every time he has to make a save, I always think he's going to make it, Mendy. Of course, you add to that no question. Right now it's Silva, Zuma, Chilwell, and probably should be James all the time. It's pretty much been 4 of the 5. Now and again, Azpilicueta's played, but they've kind of got settled down with the personnel. And as you started by asking about the goalkeeper, yes, you've got a goalkeeper who now looks as though he's going to save everything that's hit at him.
Shaka, I think we probably knew that Mendy would be an upgrade. You surprised at how much of an upgrade he's been?
I am, yes. Listen, I think Thiago Silva coming in equally huge. I felt Chelsea had talented defenders, but they needed a leader in that back line, and they found that in Thiago Silva. But Mendy coming in, you knew it was going to be an upgrade on Kepa. I honestly didn't think that things would gel so quickly between him and his back four. Things wouldn't gel as quickly as they have. And the numbers speak for themselves. You don't need to look any further than that, certainly as far as the goalkeeper is concerned.
All right, guys, time for a walk down memory lane. When was the first time the guys realized or were told they were good enough to be professional? Don, you remember that moment?
Oh, I do. I was just playing local football, and a scout, famous one, Pop Robson, who's a bit of a legend in the UK, he was scouting for Hartlepool at the time, and he asked me to go for a trial. I went for a trial, played against Sunderland, scored a couple of goals. I was a forklift driver, or an apprentice forklift driver at the time, earning approximately £100 a week. And they asked me to sign sort of professional forms for £27.50. And I took it. I just wanted the opportunity to sign, so I signed for Hartlepool. Best thing I ever done.
Shaka, you had an interesting path to professionalism. Do you remember the moment you said, I can make a living at this?
I remember the moment somebody else said it could. I wasn't quite sure. So yeah, my path, as you all know, went to Howard University here in the US, and then went out to England. I was on trial at Reading, and nobody really said anything, but the trial kind of dragged on. And then the starting goalkeeper, a guy by the name of Steve Francis, had broken his finger a game before, but he played. And then all of a sudden we were away to West Brom. West Brom were top of the second division, what is now League One. Ozzy Ardiles was the manager of West Brom at the time. And I'm sitting there in the team meeting before the game as usual. And Mark McGee, the Reading manager, names me in the starting lineup. I had no idea. I hadn't signed pro forms with Reading at the time. I was still officially a trialist. He didn't tell me he was even thinking about it. All of a sudden, we're about to play table-topping West Brom, and he names me in the starting lineup. And I had no idea what to do with myself at that point. We lost 3-0, but that was the least of my concerns that day.
Oh, details. Somebody else can remember that.
You didn't know what to do. Well, make a save. Make a save would have been a good place to start.
Yeah.
Stevie, you remember?
After the third one went in, he went, I know what I'm doing wrong.
Well, he hadn't signed yet. It wasn't official. Stevie,
Exactly. I signed my pro contract 2 days later. I signed my first pro contract for a whopping £400 a week 2 days later.
Wow.
Oh, hey, I'll tell you what. You two are a pair of big-time Charlies. 400 a week, and then Dawn on 27.
Whoa.
I was getting a tenner. I was getting a tenner a week at United.
£27.50
I was getting £10 and a wee brown envelope. They were like that. There you go, lad. £10. I thought it was like that. Brilliant. And I had to go home and give my mum a fiver of it for my housekeep.
Yep. How much expenses did you claim though?
Well, well, actually, I used to ride Eleanor's moped back and forward for the house, and they all knew, so I couldn't really stitch my expenses up.
Oh, goodness.
We moped. 25 mile an hour down the road. Pitch black. On the way home to training. Big lorries flying past me and missing like about that wide of me. I'm like that. Well, we light in the front with a helmet on. I've got a helmet on as well, and I've got a wee basket in the front of it. Put my boots in.
Do you have a bell? Stevie?
Oh yeah, I definitely knew I was destined for the big time going the way home in a Honda moped, 40cc.
You've got to superimpose your face on Dumb and Dumber when he's on the bike.
It don't get any bigger than that.
I just wonder if Stevie was holding the phone while he was driving the bike. Shaka, if you weren't a goalkeeper, what position would you play?
As a striker. Goalkeeper is actually my second position, Sebastian.
Wow.
I was born as a striker. Yes. Yes, I was.
That's a boring answer. Stevie, what position would Shaka have played if he wasn't a goalie?
Shaka?
Yeah. There's your answer.
I think he would have taken over that apprenticeship that Don had driving the truck. I think that's what he would have done if he wasn't a goalie. Hey, Shaq, there's the keys to me. There's the keys to me forklift. Get on with it. See you later. I'm going to Hartlepool.
All right, Stevie.
I would have run you off the road in your moped.
I bet you would have.
It'd have been faster.
Stevie, you ever tried to score an overhead kick goal in training or during a match? And how? I guess Shaka's laugh.
No, I didn't fancy breaking my neck. So no. Don't
Don?
even remember.
Stevie hates
even messing around. Oh, I might have done it when I was about 7 or 8.
I've never seen anybody in football who hates an overhead kick, but Stevie.
I don't hate overhead kick. There are certain ways to do it. Some people know exactly what they're doing and actually position them to their body, jump the right height, the whole thing, time it correctly. And there's others who just actually fling a leg and have no idea what they're doing and somehow get away with it. That's the ones I don't like, Shaq.
Don, will you be able to sleep tonight with the visual of Stevie Nicol and the overhead kick bouncing through your head?
Yeah, no, it's not really Stevie's forte, is it? I mean, imagine Shaka's legs trying to do it. Imagine the limbs flying everywhere. Shaka goes. It was never my forte.
Yeah, right.
I never fancied it.
Deep in that locker, Shaka. Deep in that locker. I'm sure. All right, boys.
I'm telling you, Stevie. I'm telling you.
Thank you very much. Great stuff from the guys.
Actually,
on
if there's one man that could do it, out of the four of us, it's probably you, Sebi.
Wow. High praise.
Just
Stevie.
going to ask him.
Yeah.
What was your forte, Seb?
It wasn't anything to do with football or soccer, so we could just leave it there. I think that's. I don't need to set myself up for any more abuse here, and I know that that's what's coming if I answer that question honestly. So I'm not going to do it.
Not at all.
All right, Stevie, Shaka, Don, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow. Plenty more questions to deal with on Extra Time, plus lots more to get to on the show. Don't miss it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.